Welcome to this week's What's New in Microsoft 365 and Teams for the 8th to the 15th of May 2021. I'm Mark Thompson and I'm going to take you through what's new and available now, some revised timelines, just the three main updates this week. It's quiet again this week. Some ones to watch, bite-sized updates, and then a reminder of how you can keep up to date. A little bit different this week. I'm not running the video and I'm not using my usual audio. So I'm currently reviewing the Microsoft Xbox wireless headset and answering the question, is it suitable for work and unified communications, so your Teams calls or your Skype calls or whatever. So I'm going to use it for this week's recording and podcast just to see what it's like, just part of my review. Okay, let's get into this. What's new and available now? So the SharePoint Immersive Reader for pages and news posts. If you go to the top left-hand corner, you should see the Immersive Reader. If you haven't got it already, it'll be there any day now for you. And Teams meetings have increased from 300 to 1,000 for interactive participants. And finally, access to the Outlook My Day, which is like the calendar and to do. So if you go to outlook.com, sorry, if you go to office.com, which is a great place to start your working day, by the way. There's a lot on there. You'll see this little icon at the top, so which is my day, and here you can have a look at your calendar and to do. It brings quite a lot into one place for you. Okay, so revised timelines for you. So organizers been able to lock the meeting, your meetings. I was doing a 365 update for a large client of the Inform teams last week, and I asked the question, when would you ever use this? And the main thing that came through was when they're doing training that has some type of accreditation or some mandatory training. That is a good example of when you would say, well, you've missed too much of training, you need to resit another session. So looking forward to that, but you have to wait another couple of weeks for it. Joining a meeting with a digital ID. So those people who use Zoom personally, you'll know that you've been able to get an ID, a meeting ID for ages. So that is coming to Teams as well, but not until early June to July. So that's been pushed out a little bit, hasn't it? So look out for that in towards the summer. Okay, next up we have the Immersive Reader in OneDrive and SharePoint for documents. So you can see here we've selected a document. We then click on Open. Go down to Open in Immersive Reader. So it's going to bypass a word, and you can see there it's gone straight into the Immersive Reader for the person using that document. It's for OneDrive and SharePoint libraries, so it opens directly into the reader, and you can look out for that anytime now, and it should be rolled out over the next 6 weeks or so. Group chat with external users in Teams. So this is part of uh, Microsoft's current drive to get people working better with externals. So you'll know that with Channel Connect, you're going to be able to add someone to a channel only from a different organization, and they will see that channel in their setup. So this is like I guess, hot on the heels of that. This means that you could have people from other organizations joining your chats. You have up to 250 participants. The default settings will allow it, but your organization may block. So make sure that you check with your IT whether that's coming or not, if it's of real interest to you. So this is rolling out anytime now until the end of July as well. Okay, and now we've got our SharePoint news in Yammer Feed. So if you're a Yammer user, you'll be familiar with the feed. You're going to start seeing SharePoint news in your feed. Just a recap of what you see in your feed. So you get your featured content, the content that you've subscribed to, and that's been recommended for you, and content that's trending across your organization. There's a 3% chance of you seeing SharePoint news in each of those three items at the top. And I'm not sure, honestly, where that 3% comes from. But it comes from Microsoft, but I'm not sure how they come up with that number. But anyway, that's due late May to late June. Okay, so like I said, not a lot this month. Let's get on to these bite-sized updates. Outlook for the web. Notifications pane is going to be changed to activity. Outlook and Android, iOS and Android apps for Outlook are going to get a floor plan. So I think that looks really nice actually. How useful is that? When we go out to work, you need to book a desk. You could it's just got you can add a map to where the desks are. OneDrive, iOS and Android, been able to jump to look at this center It's the center image here, but able to jump directly to a particular page in a PDF. And we have this new position for the send button in iOS. They just made it a little bit more in a way that makes a bit more sense. So you can see here that you type in your message, and at the end here you press send, and off it goes. SharePoint list settings to be able to you can turn comments on and off. So if you have a look at the blog, you'll see there's a few more notes on that, and I think there's an individual post in on supersimple365.com as well. So it just means that you can turn the comments on and off if you want to. And SharePoint list is updated sharing experience. It just gives you a little bit more control over the sharing. And actually, I've got to just double check what that is. That happened last week as well, didn't it? So this creates a unique sharing links for lists based on who and how you wish to share them while adhering to any. So it'd be interesting to see how that actually pans out. I've got to be honest, that description doesn't completely leave me knowing what that's going to do. So let's look out for that, folks. Sometime this month, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so once to watch, these are things which are a little bit further out. Multi-language meeting invite controls from Microsoft Teams, looking to come in September. Together mode extensibility in Teams. This just means that people in your organization with enough talent can create scenes for together mode. You know, where everyone's like sitting, it looks like everyone's in an auditorium. So you can design your own and you can start using those from June. Debut in the calendar for iOS and Android in Microsoft Teams. Immersive Reader support for mobile. So I think that'll be quite interesting to see. That's coming at 8 June. Restarting live events. So up until now, if you accidentally stopped a live event or it had a fault, you weren't able to restart it. And that sounds bizarre, doesn't it? It's amazing that that was a thing. But coming in July, if you accidentally stop a live event, you can just restart it. And one that's not Teams or project, being able to better book resources and manage your resource availability. Look out for that actually really in the summer. So we're looking out to August for that one. Obviously, all of these folks, when there's a bit more detail, I'll share that. So over the next couple of weeks, you'll see more detail of those. All right, folks. So we are about done. Usual ways to keep up with what I share. So on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, podcasts, blog, and if you want these updates delivered to your inbox, so the weekly newsletter. So if you go to do a search for Super Simple 365 on the web, and then just sign up for the newsletter, and then every week then you'll get it delivered to your inbox to save you having to look out for them. Okay, folks, we are done nice and quick this week. See you next week.